There's a reason why Lake Hospital System is led by the people of our community. For a hospital system sanctioned by the very people it serves, our commitment is for quality healthcare that is not a choice for some, but a reality for all. A healing environment where you and we are cared for, not just treated. Today, we are forging an historic opportunity to set the world standard for the ways a community hospital system can bring medical vitality to the community it serves. All eyes are on us, and the implications, as you will soon see, are far-reaching and profound. Together with you, we have a rare opportunity to bring to our community a level of care never before realized by any community at any price. This story is merely one of many. It is a small glimpse into how one department here at Lake Hospital System is leveraging cutting-edge technological advances to work wonders in medicine. It is a snapshot of how we are setting the stage for the future of healing and well-being here at home, for our families, for our friends, for ourselves. This story is about you. Without you, it is merely a dream.
My name is Frank Grachus. I'm a radiologist here at Lake Hospital Systems. It's been my privilege and honor to be here for 28 years. But when I first got here, radiology was practiced a lot differently from the way it is now. When I started out, typically all of our reading was done with film.
In the past, we would print a sheet of film and there would be 80, 90 images laid out next to each other in a grid pattern, and we would have to follow pieces of anatomy by jumping our eyes back and forth across 4 or 5 sheets of film.
The image is made on the film, it's stored on the film, and it's displayed on the film. These things get lost. They get crumpled up. And there's really a limit to the information that's available on film. How these guys ever managed to really look at cases like this, I don't know. I'm not sure that they really did, and I don't think they got the full information content out of it that they should have gotten.
I'm Dr. David Steiger, one of the radiologists at Lake Hospitals. Well, one of the things that the digital age has brought to us as radiologists is the ability to do what's called stack mode reviewing.
Because of the explosion that had to be reviewed, each case that we were looking at, there had to be a different way of analyzing them.
We're able to put the images in a stacked mode and literally scroll up and down the patient's body, not having to move our eyes, but just be able to follow pieces of anatomy. And unquestionably, it's improved our accuracy. It improves our speed of being able to review a case, but probably more importantly, our accuracy.
By focusing on an organ and panning back and forth through the organ, you're concentrating more on the organ rather than on the slice.
We're able to focus on one piece of anatomy at a time, review it carefully, jump to the next, review that, back and forth.
One of the big advantages of this system is that we're losing film. Film is going away. So these big stored packages of volumes and volumes of film are gone. The next thing to go away, the next analog component of radiology and of medicine in general, is going to be paper. This stuff, reports, requisitions, all those things that are floating around and clogging up desktops, film envelopes, and patient charts up on the floors and the wards has to go. And the clinical information system that we've started already in this hospital will be present at Concord from the very beginning. You won't see any paper charts on the floor, paper requisitions, paper reports with x-rays. It'll all be available digitally. One example of a way in which we actually, maybe by happenstance, found ourselves out on the leading edge in diagnostics here in Cleveland was digital mammography.
We at Lake Hospital Systems in Lake County are going to be putting in a MRI system at the Mentor Medical campus that will allow us to do breast MR imaging. That's a very important thing because it's going to allow us to evaluate young women with dense breasts. That's the most difficult patient that we have to look at on a mammogram. And interestingly enough, oftentimes those are the patients that seem to have the cancers that are the most difficult to treat. So the earlier we can get at those, the better for the patient.
Only 8% of institutions in the country have digital mammography. We made that commitment, and it's been here, and we're very familiar with it. And now you'll be seeing hospitals all over acquiring digital mammography rapidly. It's a perfect example of where we're actually leading the curve in technology.
MRI is going to be another tool in our armamentarium that's going to allow us to take some of those patients and maybe detect a cancer that otherwise might be difficult to find. The future in imaging, and imaging is becoming a larger and larger part of healthcare. It allows us to evaluate the patient without any invasive procedures.
For example, paging through the patient organ by organ instead of slice by slice. It was revolutionary in itself. The next jump in that is looking at parts of the body or organ systems three-dimensionally. Instead of paging through slices rapidly, organ by organ, we're now going to look at three-dimensional objects, turning them around, examining them that way, cutting the object in half, turning the halves around, and so forth. It's another whole way of looking at the body and at disease we're just breaking the surface of now. All of the 3D manipulation, 3D imaging is just in its infancy. And already the results are, I think, just spectacular.
Several of the procedures that would have been done in an invasive fashion in the past, including the need for sedation, need for intravenous medications, starting IVs, maybe an overnight stay in the hospital, those types of procedures are starting to be replaced by advanced imaging procedures that allow the patient to come in, have a 5 or 10 minute scan, the patient goes home, and then someone like myself, the radiologist, will sit down at a computer workstation and be able to, in 3D, evaluate the patient and provide a report to your physician indicating what's going on.
It seems like that's right now in radiology where a lot of the major advances are happening most rapidly. The next frontier is, and that we're actively looking at out here too, is CAT scanning of the coronary arteries, the heart arteries. With these multi-slice CAT scanners that we have now, it's possible to image tiny, tiny little arteries in the brain. We do that routinely now with the equipment that we have now. But really sort of the holy grail that everybody's after is the coronary arteries. But that's the kind of technological project that this hospital is capable of doing right now, right at the same time as the people at the clinic and university hospitals are. And it's certainly within our reach. All we need is some money and support.
And that's the beauty of CT imaging, is that we do a cross-section of the entire body, so we're not limited in our field of view. We can see everything that's going on.
It doesn't make really our job any easier. It makes finding disease easier.
Well, we don't build hospitals every day. This is truly a huge historic opportunity for anybody who wants to make a difference for their family and for their families to come.
There's a great advantage to people to be able to be taken care of in their own community. I do it with my family I insist on doing it with my family. I wouldn't want to have my care anywhere else.
I'm excited about this location as a location that my family can receive medical care. We are going to be close to the community, and that's good. That's where we want to be. The hospital itself is one of the largest employers in Lake County, and having the hospital located where it's going to be positioned will allow us to recruit nurses, ancillary personnel, respiratory therapists, physical therapists. It's going to be in a good location for all the people in the community to access.
I mean, it really is like the science fiction movies you've seen of putting a guy in a scanner and just pushing a button and having results pop out on a screen. It's very close to that now. And it's hard to deny the great value of that. So yes, we want more. We're going to need more.
Despite the economic pressures that we all feel and that I feel, I felt it was very important to step forward and be a part of the fundraising for the hospital and have myself contributed a significant amount of money. Our group has contributed a significant amount of money. This is an extremely important project for the community. We are going to have a first-class, a world-class hospital in our backyard, providing the care that we need in all areas of medicine, in an environment that's unparalleled within the Northeast Ohio area.
This story is about so much more than high-tech equipment or digital medicine. The real story is about people here at home working hand in hand, patients, physicians, nurses, neighbors, family, friends, donors, and volunteers. It's about our community stepping up to do something meaningful for ourselves and for our future. This is more than an historic opportunity. It is our responsibility. There is nothing more lastingly important than our health. Without it, everything else is irrelevant. If we don't care for ourselves, who will?